Hello, manifestors. Let's talk about states of consciousness. Consciousness, what does it mean that your consciousness is the only reality? Because many people just hear those phrases. They hear those phrases on a daily basis, constantly in this community, and it becomes redundant. But at the same time, many people do not actually understand, truly understand what it means. And this is why we are observing in this community many people knowing the law intellectually somehow, but really not truly knowing the law. And how do we know that? Is by the way they act and react in this 3D in regards to their desire. So if you're new here, my name is Sylviane. I help you understand the law of assumption, and I use the teaching of Neville Goddard a whole lot because I really love Neville's teaching, as you all know if you know me. And let's get into the video right off the bat. So, what do we mean really when we say consciousness is the only reality, or your consciousness, more specifically, is the only reality? To help you understand this once and for all, I did some little drawings that is going to help you. They are going to help you really, because sometimes the visual really helps the brain to get it, right? So, here's the first drawing that I have for you. This is consciousness, your consciousness, right? Within your consciousness, there is you, right? Starting with you as your name, your body, your avatar, right? You're here. You are part of your consciousness. Within that same consciousness, there is also your job, your health, your wealth, your SP, your career, your money, anything else that you may desire right now that you may say you don't have. It's also part of your consciousness. And there are also all your circumstances. All your circumstances, past, present, future, or the ones that never happened yet, they are all in here as well, right? They are all part of your consciousness, right? So this is the first drawing. Here is the second drawing for you. Within that consciousness, there's still you here, right? But there is also your past, present, and future. All of it is also part of your consciousness. This is why we are saying time doesn't exist, because within that consciousness, you see, it's all in here now. The past, present, future, it all exists at once in that consciousness. And this is the very reason why revision is powerful and revision works, because revision is revising the so-called past, but within that consciousness, right? Which is the same as the present and the future. Now, within that consciousness, there is also all of this. Your questions, your doubts, your wondering when, how, where, but all your excuses, your thoughts, your subconscious mind, your feelings, your beliefs, your problems, and so forth and so on. All of that is also part of your consciousness. Does that make sense? Does it start to make sense at the very least? And of course, within that consciousness, we have states that we also call states of consciousness. And here, for example, you have the state of being ill and the state of being healthy. So those two states are part of your consciousness, but you cannot occupy both opposite states at the same time. It's going to have to be one or the other because you couldn't be both ill and healed at the same time, right? It's one or the other. But if your focus is on being ill, being sick, if you are conscious of that, right? You are conscious of being ill, of being sick, then you cannot be conscious of being healed at the same time because it's the opposite. But this is also why, if you decide to be healed, you are a healthy person. You may even create the belief that you've never been ill, never been sick a day in your life. So your focus is on being healed, being healthy. You do not have to heal yourself from that state of being sick, of being ill, right? A lot of people get stuck right here. They're saying I'm sick and they are trying to heal. They're sick and they're trying to heal over here in the state of being ill, in the state of being sick. Impossible. As long as you are fixing a problem, the problem exists. So if the problem still exists, it's still part of your consciousness. Therefore, that's why it's not working. That's where a lot of people are stuck because they are in the wrong state still. They are still occupying the wrong state, trying to get into that state, but trying to fix that one rather than jumping into the right state, the states where everything is fixed, everything is healed, where there's no problem. Same thing with the state of being in a relationship or being single. When you guys are manifesting your specific person, as many of you are here. You're here, right? You keep on telling stories about what? About being single, being alone, being rejected, chasing SP who is very far, far, far away, right? You are in that state. Therefore, you are in the state of being single. But what you want really is another state. You don't want to be in that state. You want to be in a relationship or married, whatever. It's the same thing. That's the state you want to be in, not this one anymore. But if you keep on telling yourself stories of being single, right? Being rejected, being neglected, being not wanted, chasing SP, going to check on psychics to see what's happening. All of that refers to that state. That's the state you are occupying. And you are thinking that you can bring SP here. Well, no, because that's your state of consciousness. All you are conscious about right now is I'm single. Therefore, you're not occupying that state where you're no longer single, where you are in a relationship. This is why you need to drop the old stories. You need to revise if you need to, because you need to leave that state alone once and for all and occupy this one state. And you occupy that state in imagination, of course, at first. But it needs to be your state of consciousness, which has nothing to do with your 3D. So your state of consciousness needs to be this one. I am in a relationship. I am married. I am loved and adored and wanted and desired and you name it. That state of consciousness. When you really, truly occupy that state of consciousness in imagination, then that state of consciousness of being in a relationship will be experienced in your 3D reality. Same thing with those two states, right? Here you have the state of being poor and the state of being rich, wealthy. How many people in this community, when it comes to money, for example, say things like, should I play the lottery? Well, okay. That's a question, a valid question, I guess. But who plays the lottery? Poor people. People in that state play the lottery. And when somehow they manage to win, because they're still in that state, statistics show that they lose it all very soon, very quickly, right? If you want to manifest money knowing this law, you do not need to play the lottery, right? The lottery could be a bridge, but it's not your business to figure out bridges and hows and whens and where. Your business is to imagine that what? That you are already wealthy, that you're already in that state, right? You're already in that state. You're already wealthy. If you practice that state of consciousness from within, in imagination and feeling, then the means, which could be the lottery or whatever, the means will come to you in that state. But if you're thinking from that state, here's one thing interesting here, thinking from or thinking of. People who think about playing the lottery to become wealthy, to get into that state, they're thinking from the state of being poor. Does that make sense? So I hope this helps to understand what it means when we say consciousness is the only reality, because consciousness is everything about you. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions, your house, your SP, your health, your wealth, your circumstances, all of it are in that consciousness of yours. But within the consciousness, there are states. Some of them are completely opposite. Yes, each human being inhabit or occupy many different states, of course, but not opposite ones. You can be both single and married. You can be both wealthy and poor. You can be both sick and healthy. So those states that are complete opposite, you need to choose. You need to choose, and the best way to choose your state is to start thinking from that state. And by the way, if you are a member at the lowest level, you can have access to my last guidance meditation video to help you get into the state and thinking from the state. When you go in meditation, when you go in imagination, that's what you're doing. You are thinking from the state. So you're not here, in this case, you're not, single, thinking of a relationship. In imagination, you go there. You go there right off the bat, right away. You go there. You go in the state of being in a relationship and you think from it. That state here no longer exists in your imagination because you imagine that you're there. And that's what is going to help you think from that state. And it's the same with any other opposite states. You go in imagination and you think from that state. And this is what is going to help you occupy, embody that state and thinking from it. I hope that all this is a little bit clearer for you now. What is consciousness? Why do we say that consciousness is everything and that consciousness is the only reality? And what states of consciousness are? What do they mean? And why you can't be in two opposite states at the same time? If you have any questions, I'll be glad to reply to your questions down below in the comments. Please like the video if you liked it, share it if it was helpful, and subscribe if you have not yet. And again, if you want some guiding meditation videos, those are available in my membership channel, which you can join. If you go on my channel page, right beside the subscribe button, you'll see the join button. If you do not see the join button, let me know and I'll send you the link. But also before I do that, if you do not see the join button, you click on the box under this video, the description box. The link to the channel for members is right there. All right. A lot of people ask me, how do I join? It's all over the place, guys. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I really intend that this was helpful. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.